So let's start by asking you, John, to talk about your upbringing, your childhood, your family background, and your early education.
So where do I begin? I was born in Reno, Nevada, and my family is basically from the Nevada area, northern Nevada area. Both of my grandparents settled there, and then the family has been located there. Now, I was born in Reno, and then within 6 months after I was born, we moved to Germany. My father was in the military. He had just gotten recalled to the military because of the Korean War. We moved to Germany, and then for the next 16 or so years, we moved around various different locations in various different places in the world.
What locations?
So Germany, then Kansas, then San Francisco, the Presidio. We lived there for a year. Salinas at Fort Ord, Panama, Puerto Rico, all around. Yeah.
And presumably your grandfathers settled in northern Nevada because this was an area for Basque migration, is that right?
Yeah, for reasons I won't go into. There's a lot of Basque emigration and then immigration into various different countries. He came here thinking he would be a sheep herder. He did it for 1 season, and he hated it so much that he went to Gardnerville, Nevada, and started a little Basque hotel.
Okay.
So that's how we ended up in Nevada.
I see. And then your father served in the Army, and your mother was a nurse. Can you talk a little bit about that and the influence that it had on you?
So, yeah. Well, obviously, when you grow up as an Army brat, you have a particular lifestyle that's not all that common, which is you move either every 1 year or every 3 years, depending on the post. And so you have to learn. The only thing constant in your life is your family. Mm-hmm. And other than that, you have to get new friends, learn new areas, go to new school, and so forth and so on. So that obviously is a particular lifestyle that's not all that common. Let's see. My mother was a nurse. She did every kind of nursing job, from public health nursing, hospital nursing, and so forth and so on. She was a nurse in the Gorgas Army Hospital in Panama.
Today, I think there's a lot of concern among educators about children changing schools very often, as you did. But what kind of impact do you think that had on you?
Yeah. Clearly, I learned how to make friends and acquaintances more easily than you might if you lived in the same community for your entire life. I always hesitate. I do not tell people. So when we recruit people, sometimes they say, well, this is not a good time because my child is in school, and it might damage them if they have to move. And of course, I went through all these moves every few years. On the other hand, in the military society, so if you happen to live on a base, which you do if you're living overseas, everybody else is in the same situation. So everybody else, is looking for new acquaintances and knows how to make new friends and so forth and so on. But then every once in a while I would come in and I would be the new kid. Everybody else in the school had known each other since kindergarten, and I was just, the odd one. Like when I went back to Reno for high school, for my junior year of high school, I was the new kid.
What about the rest of your family, siblings?
So I am the middle child of 5, so I have 2 older brothers and a younger brother and a younger sister. And one of my older brothers actually did join the military. and this is the one that my father ended up telling the war stories to. But we're a very close family. We have always been a very close family, and a very we get along very well to this day. So that's nice.
And as a middle child, I know that psychologists do studies about the impact of being, of where you land in the order in the family. Did that have an effect on you, do you think?
Yes, I think it did. So I was always seen as the mediator, and my parents, particularly my mother, treated me as the person who was the sensible person, or and yeah. So I have no doubt it had an effect, and I think it probably had. I think that probably had an effect, as did growing up in the military and moving a lot. Probably had an effect on how I deal with people in administrative jobs. So, for example, as provost, no doubt.